Hello everyone, this is Karlo Berkovich of TheRecord.com with Luisa D'Amato, our local columnist, and this is On the Record. And Luisa, we're going to talk about a couple things today. Today's column, in fact, about the money, where they're putting, you were saying that we ought to honor more women on Canadian money. There was one commenter so far on your column who says, why would we honor nobodies? So I'll just leave that to you.
Well, I guess if you think that the person who wins the Nobel Prize for Literature is a nobody, I guess you have as much right to comment as anyone else on our website. What can I say? All I noticed is that our money is very male-oriented in terms of the money, in terms of the images that it has on it. There's the Canadarm, there's trains, there's an icebreaker, and there's a bunch of old prime ministers, all of whom were male. So I thought, why not, since Jane Austen is now going to be on the 10-pound note in England, why not have women writers, 3 of whom have roots in the local area here? Why not have our next money feature some women? Alice Munro, who just won the Nobel Prize for Literature and is from Wingham. Edna Stabler, who wrote Food That Really Schmecks and was a wonderful author and journalist and died in 2006 at the age of 100. And Pauline Johnson, who was one of the first creators of Canadian literature. She was the daughter of a Mohawk chief and lived on the Six Nations Reserve and wrote about the Grand River and wrote such beautiful poetry. Why not have them on our money to prove that Canada is more than just a bunch of old guys in breeches and a lot to do with ice and snow?
What about hockey players?
Ice and snow.
You knew I'd say that. What about...
Well, there is a scene on, I think it's the $5 bill of people playing hockey, and they all look like boys to me.
Yes. Well, I am sure, with your wide-ranging influence, that the next time they they upgrade our money, that these 3 women will be on the money.
Well, I'm just saying.
And Luisa will then go, Luisa got action. Now, speaking of politicians, you mentioned male politicians.
Oh,
There's
yeah,
there's a guy down.
That's what we should do.
There's a guy down the road who's been in a bit of, just been somewhat dominated in the news worldwide, and that's Rob Ford, and you wrote about him earlier in the week.
Yes, I did.
Why, you normally focus on local things, so why did you choose him when he's not a local figure?
Rob Ford has put Southern Ontario on the international map with his antics and his drug-infused behavior. He has caused the Jon Stewart and other nationwide comedy programs to be having a field day with his business.
That's amazing material for him.
Yes, nobody else goes on the media and admits that he did something terrible because he was in a drunken stupor and acts as if the drunken stupor is an excuse. So we have somebody.
But that is why he's popular still to a certain segment, right? Because he's everyman.
I'm not saying everyman.
No, that's Ford Nation.
Yeah, and
anyway, go ahead.
When you have an accident, it was because I was in a drunken stupor.
No, I'm just saying that's the reality of the situation. Anyway,
I'm not
defending him. I'm just saying
he is. It's true that he makes mistakes like everyone else, but I think it's gone beyond.
By no means am I defending him. When I say, and by the way, the column that Luisa wrote earlier in the week was before the rant video came out yesterday, Thursday. We're doing this on Friday, and that is where when I saw that one, I thought, this is not funny anymore.
No, he's in serious trouble.
This is really serious stuff.
He has a serious drug problem. He gets into serious rages that are not drunken stupors, but he was threatening to kill somebody on the latest video. Yet he is still the mayor of Toronto, and he gets to be the mayor of Toronto as long as he wants to be, unless 2 things happen. One of 2 things happens. He misses 3 council meetings or he's in jail. The Ministry of Municipal Affairs has no process for removing an municipal elected official, except if one of those 2 things happens. It will be a long time, even if he's charged tomorrow, which miraculously he hasn't yet been charged with any kind of criminal offense. But even if he's charged tomorrow, it will still take a long time for him to go to jail. So I think what we have is we have a mayor who's out of control. We have a city that's an enormous, complex organism and needs to be run properly. He's unable to run the city. His judgment's impaired, and he's vulnerable to extortion and blackmail by the people who know what else he did that we don't yet know about. So I think that the province ought to institute a process to allow citizens to impeach elected officials when things have gone this far. And it's only by the grace of God that it's Rob Ford of Toronto and not Karl Zare of Kitchener. Karl Zare would never do such things. We all know that. But we could as easily have that problem here.
Yeah, it's a well taken point, and it's in Louisa's column that's online. You can just go to our opinion pages online and click on columnist, and Louisa is there with all her work, including the Rob Ford column and everything she does. Look for that in the pages of The Record and on therecord.com. This is Karlo Berkovich for On the Record.